What we do here is go back.
How you doing today? Are you guys ready for a fun weekend? Awesome! Guys, this is Sean Browning. He's gonna be my co-host today.
Hi everybody, having fun?
Give it up for Sean. My name is Adam Ward. Guys, we have a special treat for you. Coming up, just before we get to them, just for our sponsor here, London Comic Con is proudly supported by Start.ca. Give it up for Start, guys. Whether you are gaming, streaming movies, or just browsing, you get the most out of your internet with Start. Boasting speeds of up to 250 megabytes per second, so you never have to wait for what you want. Doesn't that sound great? Now, without further ado, guys, let's get it. We have two of the Village people here today. Give it up for Randy Jones and Felipe Rose, the Village people!
Oh, we can do better than that, come on! There we go.
Take a seat right here.
Good afternoon.
Guys, welcome to London.
Thank you. It's cold here.
It's cold.
Did nobody tell these folks that no one over 25 years old looks that good sitting on a sofa? So we've got to hold it in, right?
Guys, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
Do you guys go to a lot of conventions? Are you nerds at heart?
Well, we are. I'm a nerd at heart, and we do as many of these as we can do each year with our schedules, right, Felipe?
I was just last week at Santa Fe Comic Con. That was pretty crazy. It was fun. And then, of course, partying every night as one must with our fans and friends and then the people that were attending. So I had a blast. And now I'm here with this one. Oh, God.
This gentleman and I, we've been doing this. We are true blood brothers from the very beginning. We've been together since 1977, off and on. Performing and appearing, and it is such a pleasure to be here in London with you guys again. Right, Felipe?
Yes.
And Randy,
We hadn't seen each other in 22 years up until a month ago.
that's amazing. Now, I was reading, Randy, when you first became part of the Village People, it was in response to an ad you had read in the theater paper.
Yes, I had seen an ad. I had actually met the producers at a photo shoot, and I was performing with Grace Jones prior to Village People, and they had met me there. But you know, there was an ad that said looking for singers and dancers who have a mustache, and I answered the ad.
I helped write that ad. I'm actually a co-founder, one of the co-founders, Wendell Jacques Morale, and the ex-lead singer Victor Willis. So this one shows up at the audition, and immediately we knew because of the mustache, yeah. And then when the other guy showed up, the biker, the Lakeland Hughes, with the rockin' mustache, he definitely had the job.
I just had a quick question about it, because this was New York, right?
Greenwich Village, yeah.
Right. How did, like, back in the late 70s in New York, there was a huge music scene coming out of New York, right? Like we had the CBGBs and like all that kind of like Talking Heads and Blondie and all that. How, like, what was it like popping into that? It must have been quite a joyous, like,
Well, the music scene was really amazing at that time. You had Max's Kansas City,
Right.
So you had a very young Deborah Harry hanging out there on the east side, CBJ Talking Heads, and then on the west side of the Village, you had all the big clubs, the smaller clubs, like the Limelight, and I was a regular fixture running around New York in my tribal gear. My dad's American Indian, so I was like long hair, you know, very 70s, fringe jacket, and so it was on a fateful night in one of those clubs that I met the late Jacques Morale, and he immediately came up with the idea of, oh, I can put a group together with this guy, and maybe another guy. Well, when he told me the idea, I thought it was really stupid. No, I did. I thought he was, you know. But then again, you know, he was French, so he was on the outside looking in, and what was known to us and what we're used to, and as far as our American male stereotype and our image and our look as Americans, and for that matter, here in this country, no one will tell you, oh, you know, we're gonna do a new Canadian group, and if I were putting something together and call it the Canucks, you would go, no, that doesn't work, you know?
Right, there had to be a Mountie and a polar bear and just someone dressed up like Tim Horton.
I think you can put a pretty good group together nowadays in Canada. It's a wonderful country. When we all met each other for the first time in 1977, it was a remarkable year in New York City as far as music and culture goes. And there's an incredible documentary called NY77, The Coolest Year in Hell. And it talks about, it was the year of the blackout, it was the year of the birth of hip hop, it was the year of the birth of punk rock music, and it was the year of the birth of disco officially. And so we happened to be there and we fit in with all of that, and it was a remarkable time. And we're still here today, and we're very glad that you guys have had us here. Thank you very much.
Well, I said when I found out that I'd be talking to you guys that I had to tell this story really quickly. 6 years old in my backyard in a small town in Ontario called Madoc, very small town, like 1,100 people, and they were replacing the telephone poles, right? And so they had one lying down in our backyard, and I went out there one afternoon and I spent about 3 hours singing in the Navy, doing what can best be described as the log driver's waltz on this telephone pole. And my father never let me live it down. All the neighbors, I'm glad the internet wasn't around then. But you guys have, you had that power that you, all over the world, you were such icons to every age, from small children to the elderly, like everybody, all over the world. And like it must have been like such a thing to answer an ad in the paper that suddenly you're icons.
It still is actually wonderful. Last week at the Santa Fe Comic-Con, I had 2 little 5 and 6-year-old little brothers that begged their dad that they wanted to go meet the Native American and village people because they know the music. So once again, you know, seeing these kids today, 40 years later, it's pretty good. There's quite nothing like it. And our fans are now multi-generational, so it's pretty interesting. In Australia, a couple of years ago, I ran into the same 5 women of 5 different generations, the great-grandmother, the grandmother, the mother, the daughter, all of them come to see us at the hotel after the concert. And one interesting thing I noticed about all of them, as I looked into their eyes were the same. They had the same eyes. And so that made me really dig that I was in their company at present moment. It was amazing.
That's awesome. I remember my first time hearing one of your songs. I had a Disney cassette tape. I was like 2 or 3 years old, and it had a song called Macho Duck. And it was about, very much like Macho Man, but starring the duck, and I played that thing out.
It's funny you should mention that because I remember when they did that. We've had a wonderful relationship with Disney since I think we first played there in 1978. And Disney has utilized our music in educational ways to teach kids, YMCA to teach them the alphabet. And they play YMCA and Macho Man in the different parades in the different parks. But Disney and the relationship with Disney is only one of the many ways that we've been it's been so beneficial for us to have people utilize our songs songs utilize what we do and what we've been about for the past 41 years. And it's quite a wonderful luxury and a wonderful blessing that we are invited to so many places that we're invited to, and be greeting the smiling faces and people who are here to see us and talk to us and grab a few minutes. And that's why we love doing the cons, because the people that produce the cons, they produce an environment that is where everybody can feel safe and welcome and comfortable to explore and the different parts of whether it's a character from anime or whether it's a character from a movie that you might enjoy, but where everybody's safe and everybody else is non-judgmental. And it's so great to be here, and we get to spend 2 or 3 or 4 minutes or however long we spend when you come to our table and we sign something for you. It's probably our only opportunity to get to meet you. So I hope we see each and every one of you when we get set up over there. But it's a great thing to be here at the cons. So please give yourselves all a big round of applause.
Yeah, for you guys for making these things happen.
It's a wonderful thing.
Now, to go into a little bit of the nerd stuff, what do you guys read comics? Do you guys watching cartoons, anime? What do you guys like to do in your spare time?
I love all Marvel, anything Marvel comics.
Who's your favorite right now? Venom?
I like Venom, but of course, Captain America. I know if I say Wonder Woman, she's DC, but she's still sexy and hot.
I want to know what your favorite Village People song is.
Oh, mine? I'm gonna say Macho Man.
I'm going to say YMCA because that puts a check in our bank about every 3 or 4 months. Seriously. No, YMCA, Felipe, when we perform together, we end with YMCA. And when he does his show separately and I do mine, we always end with YMCA. But you have to, because it is one of the most wonderful, uplifting songs that we've ever recorded. And as I was told by an agent of mine, you got to do YMCA. You got to do YMCA. It's the best deodorant in the world. For us, no matter what the show has been like prior to that song, YMCA always makes people feel good. They get to leave the theater smiling and feeling good. So I am very grateful to have that as part of our legacy. But we have YMCA, Macho Man, In the Navy, Go West, Can't Stop the Music, and we're a couple of very lucky dogs to have had the career we've had.
And if I may add, last year, Randy, thank you, Randy topped top 40 on Billboard magazine with his dance single. Yeah, and then last week, I was fortunate enough to win my 5th Native American Music Award for my dance single, Best Song of the Year, going back to my roots. I left the group a year ago. Randy left quite some time ago, but last month, I said that we hadn't seen each other in 22 years. I was inducted, I was being inducted and honored into the Vinyl Legends Hall of Fame. He was inducted last year. When he found out, he said, I'm gonna show up. And I was trying to tell him on the phone, no, don't, it's about me tonight. But he showed up, in no way. He showed up and it was great. And while we were on stage, I invited him up so that, to thank him for all the years that we've known each other and how we've been together for so many decades. And there were fans that were crying. They were emotional. I asked one guy, I said, why are you emotional? He said, it's like a Beatles reunion. If you're a Village People fan and you see of any group that either split up or fell apart and come back, fans are, you don't want to mess with the way they feel. That's why Comic-Cons are now spreading across the world, because anything and everything pop culture is what this is about. And people come here and I love it. I love it.
Folks get a chance to see in the flesh someone that you may have seen in a film or heard on a record or seen in a comic book. Or or at least hear the voice of someone who does the character of someone you've seen it anyway. But Felipe he's absolutely correct. Having done what we've done, having Village People as part of our career and legacy, is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me, and I'm sure I could speak for Felipe. And he was correct. There were people that came up to him and were in tears to see that he was there and he was being awarded and recognized. And Felipe has touched a lot of people, and I am here to testify that it's all been appropriately. It's all been appropriate.
Thank you. I love Beauty and the Beast over here. I love you guys. Just standing there. Hello.
Now, guys, just some advice for maybe future artists or people that may be here today that are looking to record albums and get their feet on the ground and, you know, be the next big thing in the music world. What advice would you have for them?
Well, in today's age, I would say that you should brand yourself, market yourself, be your own brand. If you can play an instrument, write your music, publish your music by yourself. Try not to give anything away unless a check is handed to you or a real substance of income-making situations. And then just basically be the best at the craft that you want to, you know, where you want to excel in.
Know what it is. If you're an artist or a musician or a singer, know what it is that you do. Feel confident about it. Make sure you're prepared. And hashtag never give up. Never ever give up.
Like many of these artists that are here, that are painters, that design tattoos. I mean, everybody here is an artist. Even the cosplayers, you know. So I'm excited for this weekend, and I go out and say hello whenever, you know, things are slow. I go about and meet people. So many of the vendors and many of the artists out here, I will be walking up to the table to say hello and probably getting some free stuff.
Watch out, he's looking for a tattoo.
Do you guys get a lot of cosplayers dressing in Village People?
Yes. But you know, it's easy to do my gig. Throw on a hat and a pair of boots and a pair of tight jeans. They used to be, I mean, some people call these like skinny jeans, but I can't fit in that. These are slim fit.
Excellent. Well, we love you in Canada, and we're very happy you're here.
So glad to be here.
You were saying earlier that you actually won awards up here and whatnot.
Junos, we won a couple of Junos.
Actually, I think the first time we ever performed up here was a remarkable event. It was, I think, 1978, 79 maybe. It was it was called Canada Jam, and it had been produced by the same people who produced California Jam the year earlier, and it was Canada Jam, and it must have had like 100,000 people. It was an outdoor concert, and if you ever saw that movie The Rose with Bette Midler, where she gets picked up in a helicopter in the parking lot of the hotel. They picked us up in a helicopter, and we flew out to the country where it was, and we flew over this amazing crowd to where we were. They landed us backstage, and it was all of these great groups like the Commodores, Kansas, just groups I can't even name. I don't think the Stones were there, but people like that. And they had these house trailers for dressing rooms, and they were like barbecuing and sewing their jeans and looking after their little babies. But when they got on stage, it was like Woodstock. It was the most amazing thing, and that's when Macho Man was our hit, and I think it was 1978 that we performed here. And we've been in love with Canada ever since, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. And when we sing YMCA, we have to always say YMCA A. Always, just one more time, YMCA A. You know, we've also been here with Cher. I was with her on her tour, and Village People, the incarnation that I was with, we were her opening act. So we rolled through Canada, and they love her here too.
And do you guys have any crazy stories from that tour? With Cher.
With Cher?
Everything was
Oh
crazy.
my God. Well, you know, she loves games. It's like bingo. And so on the off days, she'll rent a ballroom and we'll bring up the entire setup for bingo. And the crew and the band and the dancers and everybody play bingo with her. And she adds to the pot, you know, another 1,000, another 1,000. Hey, you know, it's Cher. And so her thing was old 69. So whenever that would come up, she would go, oh, 69. So we were on tour with her, and we didn't go to New Zealand with her because we had a previous commitment. So I was told that she did the 4 shows in New Zealand, and every evening she was doing her makeup, and she kept asking, where are the boys? Where are the boys? And they kept saying, they're in Florida. And the second night again, where are the boys? And they were like, in Florida. So, you know, the makeup, too much makeup, but you know, she's ditzy off stage, but she's terrific on stage. She's phenomenal.
That must have been an amazing time. Now I'm going to open up this to the audience. Are there any questions out there before we head out? Anyone?
You look like you have a question. We
Do
don't
not
mind.
bite. Okay, that's okay. Last question, then I'll take it, guys. What each of you, what is your favorite song of all time? Either yours or something that really inspired you and made you want to raise your level as a performer.
Well, not as a performer, but my song I love right now, than even back then, Bohemian Rhapsody. And now that the movie's come, we knew Freddie. We partied with him, and you know, I'm sure that he must be happy looking down on heaven from heaven with this movie that's about ready to come out. So I went through all of my Queen music 2 weeks ago, and you know, just fell in love with it all over again. But I can't really pick one song, can you?
It's tough, it's an impossible question.
Well, you were friends with Dolly Parton. I mean, here we go again.
That's a great song that she wrote. I'll always love you. Is that the song? Here, yeah. There's so many great ones. But I from the disco era, other than our music, I think the one that Gloria Gaynor did, "I Will Survive," is just absolutely wonderful. And we were actually, when Felipe received the Legends of Vinyl Award, Gloria presented it to him, and she is still out there like so many of us. From the dinosaur and Paleolithic era, she is still performing with great guns, and she's really great. And believe it or not, she looks better today than she looked back in the day. So, I mean, yes, you do. Thank God for science. Love you.
All right, guys, that's our last